OffBeat Sports Podcast.
It's been a tale of two seasons for the Boston Celtics.
I probably aged about 10 years just from that series.
I'd probably compare myself to just a younger, smarter, more handsome, stronger Michael Jordan.
Let's go Celtics. Go Patriots.
These are guys who, when you give them a bowl of Cheerios in the morning, they finish every last drop of milk.
Absolute clown over here.
I'm ready when you are, baby.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the OffBeat Sports Podcast. Today, we are joined by Coach Rob Allen, a professional player development coach for NBA, FIBA, and college players who he has worked with guys such as Colin Sexton, Kevin Huerter, Jay Crowder, Nasir Little, and Celtics guys such as J.D. Davison and Jay Scruggs. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. How y'all guys doing, man?
I can't complain.
Great.
We're just getting by, right?
Gotcha.
So let's start with our Celtics guys. So we got J.D. Davison and Jay Scrub, who you work with. So how'd you get to work with them, and what has your experience been like working with them?
Each story is different. It could take days to tell, but I give you a short story. I've been knowing JD. I'm originally from Selma, Alabama. And JD is from Little Hatchie, Alabama. So it's like Lowndes County. It's like I would say about 40 minutes from where I'm from. So I've been knowing him since he was in the 8th grade. Been knowing of him since the 8th grade. Always been athletic, like one of the first 8th graders I ever seen, like just get up and dunk a basketball. So he's always been athletic. So I've been knowing him for a long time and his family. So it was just right that, me being from Alabama, him being from Alabama, be able to work with him. So of course work with him in college and now as well with the Celtics. So that's more of a state, Alabama State thing, us being from the same area. So that's how I started with JD. And Scrub is a little different. His agent, Corey Markham with Easy Sports, he was the first agent to allow me to do pre-draft for him. And Scrub was his first big signee. So I did Scrub's pre-draft in 2020 during the COVID draft. So if you guys remember, that draft didn't happen till November, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was definitely
a
late one.
year.
Yeah, it was 2020. So I met Scrub in April. So we were together from April all the way to November. So we built the bond, and ever since 2020, I've been working with him as well. So so both stories are different, but both have
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what has your experience been like working with these guys, and like what'd you see from them in summer league that you found were positive, and what'd you see that made you say we got to get back in the gym and fix some of this?
It's been outstanding because especially with JD, I've seen him come from being a high school, middle school kid all the way to the NBA. So that's a little different, and Scrub, coming from the JUCO ranks. And being able to play in the NBA is another feat by itself. But just watching Summer League, I was proud that Scrub, first of all, was able to get a two-way.
Don't let the name fool you. He isn't a scrub. He is no scrub by any means.
He's definitely not that. But having him before Summer League, we really honed in on a lot of things like scoring at the basket. Being able to, the biggest thing in basketball now is being able to shoot the basketball. So he shot pretty well in Summer League. I think just the biggest thing for him going forward is on the defensive end, being a pest on defense, being able to know his reads, being able to play off the ball defense. I think a lot of people look at the on ball perspective of basketball. They don't look at the off ball, like who's cutting, who's tagging, who man is here, who man is there. So I think that's one of the biggest steps for him to continue to make strides in. He's athletic enough. He's fast enough. He could be a pest if he wants to. So that's the biggest thing for him. And JD, I think people forget he did lead the Summer League in assists again for the second straight year. Of course, he had more turnovers, but I would say that's due to how the summer league team was built. JD is a great lob thrower
Mm.
from the pick
Yeah,
and
he was
roll.
finding that European guy a lot, I found.
Yeah. So if you know on the main Celtics, they have is it Mufanya?
Yeah, Kabengele.
Yeah, Cabangeli.
I
So
love him. I love him.
yeah,
His on last year's summer
yeah,
league, he was a beast.
so Cabangeli, if you watch last year and the G League, like the main, JD probably threw about 80%, 90% of his lobs to him. So when you're playing in the pick and roll, which he's good at the pick and roll, and he's used to divers, like quick divers after the screen and roll. So that's for him to throw it up, catch lob. So it wasn't too many guys like that this year. So I think that had a lot to do with, more turnovers. But I mean, he shows flashes that he could be special. Just gotta continue to, you know, keep staying in the gym like he does. I mean, he'll be fine. So
Mm.
and then I
He's got
think
a lot of energy.
yeah, he does. And that's an Alabama thing. So that's where we get it from. So, but I mean, he'll be fine. He just got to continue to keep shooting. I think that was another thing. I think he has to be willing to take the shots when they're there.
Mm.
A lot of times if you watch the games, a lot of teams go under every time he shoots. So the main thing when working with him is, hey, they go under. You got to be confident in your shot.
Mm.
You shoot better, so you just got to be confident. So, I mean, that's the thing about being on a two-way. They try to develop you. So, when you're down with the G League team, that's your time to shine and do what you need to do. So, just continuing to get reps and shooting. So, that's the biggest thing.
So, how did you really break into the player development coaching like career that you've taken on now? Like, what was your first step into that, and how did you get to where you've gone now, working with all these players?
Man, it's a journey. I would definitely say. I mean, just as you guys doing your podcast, man, it's not something that it just fell in my lap. It's I have to always give kudos. I don't care what I'm on. It's a kid, and he's the biggest Boston Celtics fan. His name was Ricky Sherman. I met him in the 8th grade, and he was the first kid to ask me to train him in basketball. I didn't know anything about because I come from a basketball family and I played as well. So back in my day, we didn't have things called player develop, trainers or anything of that nature. So he was one of the guys that he was like, man, he watched me play in the gym and he basically was like, hey, just show me the things you do. So I trained him for like 2 years and then my name just started getting bigger because he got better. And then that's when I started working with high level high school kids. And I think my big break was, I don't know if you guys know Ashton Hagans. They used to play for Kentucky. The
Yeah, that
point.
sounds familiar.
Yeah. So Ashton Hagans was my first big time high school basketball player. He ended up being the number one player in the country. I mean, number one point guard in the country. He ended up going to Kentucky and play for Calipari. And then I had another kid by the name of Chumo Kiki.
Yeah,
That
he's been in the league, and he's been in the league. Yeah, I know who that is.
he came from Auburn. He's with the Orlando Magic. So those two guys that kind of jump started my career. And it was just by word of mouth and social media, honestly. Those were the two main things. So it's been a journey. Like I started from smaller kids all the way to where I am now. So that's basically how it happened.
So, is there any certain aspect that you think that you help to bring out in players, or that your coaching style, as a coach, kind of inhibits with other players and things of that nature? Like, is there anything specific to how you do things that you're not
Um,
sure?
I think we all are. I mean, you guys are sports heads, and I know y'all see different trainers, different coaches. We all have different ways of interacting with our players. For me, it's just on a level of, not being their friend, but also, having the just letting them know that, I'm here for you, but I'm here to make you better. I like to talk. I'm a big talker. So I'm one of those guys that like to challenge my players. And what I mean by challenge them all the time, that means just letting them know, hey man, like you're not doing what you're supposed to. Like we're gonna have a problem if you don't do what you're supposed to. And every rep, I try to talk to them during the reps, making sure that they make their shots, making everything a competition. Just staying on them basically, showing them film. So I think that's for me is what separates me and makes me better. So
So, is there anything that like that brings out that you feel like your coaching brings out of players that maybe like you don't see with other coaches? Obviously, you're specific to yourself, but do you
Mhm.
see that like any kind of change specifically, like consistently with players that you've coached?
Yeah, I have. Even by the relationships, once just having those guys and just letting them, you having that interaction with them. Like I can call them anytime. I can tell them, hey, this is what you're doing wrong without them getting upset, because a lot of us don't take well to constructive criticism. So I see it even in games, man. Like I get text messages and people say, okay, we'll talk about a certain situation, and then they'll be like, oh, I see it now. So I think that's how I see it in the game or see it when they're just the communication. Like that's
Mm.
where I see it most.
Yeah, so you have a pretty impressive resume of guys that you've worked with. So would you ever consider stepping into like a coaching development role with an NBA team, or do you like being that free market guy who can work with any range of talent and level?
It's funny you say that. That's actually my goal. So I had a
You're
couple.
doing a hell of a job of getting there.
I appreciate it. It's been a long journey, man. Like it's been almost 10 years now. So it's about that time to make that leap. But I had some conversation with a couple teams this summer. So that's the ultimate goal. But up until I do that, I'm gonna keep doing the free market thing.
Mm.
But I think I'm ready for that position. I think I'm ready to take on that position, honestly. So it's funny you said that. So yeah,
We
that's
gotta call up our boy Brad Stevens, get
hey
him on
man.
that Celtic staff
Hey,
immediately. This
I've been trying. I know a lot of people that know him. So if y'all can get that connect, I'll definitely come to Boston.
I wish I knew Brad, but
We'll
actually
find his people, but once we get you there, you gotta come. You
So,
gotta get him to come on the podcast with us
I
after
so
that.
got you.
I'm
Hey, man.
I'm gonna
Hey,
skip down. I'm gonna skip down one of my questions because if you were working with the Celtics, so Jalen Brown just got his bag from the Celtics. One of his biggest. So this has brought out a lot of haters of his and a lot of criticism of his ball handling and his turnovers. And so, if you were working with the Celtics on an analysis level, where do you think his problems lie within his handles? And do those turnovers concern you as a development coach when it comes to looking at how large his contract is?
Mm, actually, it's funny. He's a Georgia boy. So, I'm here in Atlanta. So I've been seeing Jalen since he was in high school. So it's kind of ironic, he's there. So and the person that works with him, I know him personally. He's like one of the people that once I got into this business, he was one of the people that kind of like showed me the ropes and things. But for me, I think it's just a blip, me honestly. Uh, and I'm not just saying that because I know him, because I'm a realist. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. Um, I think I just think, man, when you get more responsibility, then he's having had a ball in his hands way more. So some of those turnovers, I mean, if you look at some of the top play people in the league, they turn the ball over a lot, especially when you had a ball in your hands. I
Mm.
think his biggest thing is, just continuing to stay in the gym, which he does do. Just continuing to work on that. Like I think the biggest thing is it's not a element of just doing ball handling. It's doing ball handling when somebody's like on you, like having somebody to like just bump you and just do certain things, which I know he'll come back this year and be pretty well at that. But I mean, I'm not concerned, and I mean,
Mm.
let's be
I'd have to
real.
guess he's seeing all this criticism, which
Oh, of
for me
course,
personally,
They definitely
that would
hear
make
it.
me go out and be like, I'm only dribbling with my left hand this offseason.
of course, man. It was crazy. Like when I saw after the game, like everybody was like, man, he need a ball handling coach. He needs this, he needs that. So I mean, you know how social media is, man.
He's
Twitter,
gonna come
Oh, yeah.
out next. He's gonna come out next season game one, do like the Larry Bird game, just dribble and only
100.
shoot with his left hand.
But I also say too, man, like for the Celtics, you're in a great place. Like you lose him, like what are you gonna replace him with? So
Exactly.
I mean, I
That's the
think
thing when they talk about it.
and,
Unless you
and I
developed him, why would you let somebody else
yeah,
reap,
because
reap
you gotta
those
remember
benefits?
exactly, and you gotta remember, like you developed him since he was a rookie.
Mhm.
So
He's
my
their project, and like as a player in their development system, like to let something like that go when you've seen how far he's come this far, and he only
yeah,
has room
like
to grow. He only has room to improve. It's not like he's old. Like there's no reason
100,
to walk away from that right now, which is the reason I feel like they gave him that contract.
100%. And I just feel, I mean, let's be honest, guys. They were one win away from the finals again.
Game
Yeah,
7.
Of course, they dug themselves a hole. Let's be honest.
Yeah, oh yeah.
just a
They,
little bit.
you gotta remember, they were in the finals a year before. They were one win away from the finals this year.
Well, and
Uh,
probably would have still made it if Tatum didn't get hurt in that game 7, but
okay, so let's be honest. Like I think the Celtics are in a good spot.
yeah.
So I just think it's what you and everybody takes after what happened the last game or the last two. It's what have you done for me lately, not what you've done before. It's what you did the last couple games. So it doesn't alarm me at all. I think to be honest, I think they're the East favorites right now.
Should be.
So speaking of the Celtics and like their roster, so obviously you talked about Jay Scrub because he's someone you've worked with, and obviously his performance earned him a two-way contract, which is obviously a huge step for a player who's
Mhm.
looking to come in the league. And you talked about his path to getting here.
Mhm.
What kind of a role, as you know him as a player, and how do you think he could contribute when he does have those opportunities to this roster on obviously of the Boston Celtics? Obviously, we know he's going to be a contributor in Maine. He's shown that in summer league that he can contribute on that level. But to what level do you think he can contribute at, like in the NBA?
Um, I think he can contribute, being that especially right now, especially with this team. You have your main scorers, you have your nucleus, and I like to tell people this all the time. I believe 98% of the NBA is 3-and-D and role players. It's 2% superstars on every team. So you're gonna know who's gonna get the ball in those times. So I think for him to contribute, him being an off the bench scoring type guy, somebody give them, like the microwave, come in, give a couple buckets, be a pest on defense, show your athleticism. I think that would really help this Celtic team. I think they're gonna need that off the bench. Like
We do
some
need bench wings for sure.
We've definitely talked about that, me and Cross, like
We
between
need
ourselves
bench
and
wings for
on
real.
this on the show about how like where we need and where we lack even just with the off season. And definitely one of those things has been like the scoring off the bench and depth in that reason after
yeah,
losing some of those
I,
guys.
I like what they did getting Brissett from the
Mhm.
Cavs. Got him, then you got somebody like Jay. So you're gonna have opportunities where, because we know it's a long season. You don't know who's gonna get hurt. You don't know where people gonna be placed. So I think for Jay, that's the biggest aspect for him to be, accept that role coming out the bench. And then we know when he go to Maine, he's gonna be Jay
You gonna
Scrub
tear it up.
and tear it
Yeah.
up. I just think because you just gotta have a defined role. Like they don't need you, shooting 10 and 15, they just don't need that. So if he can find that niche, and I know Brad really, really likes him, he can contribute. I think it just gotta be in the right situation.
Well, I'm sure he's going to
Mhm.
get his opportunity, and I hope when he does that, he plays to
Mhm.
the level that that he can play at. Obviously, you see it more than we do, so I hope that he plays up to the expectation that you hold him to when he does
Yeah,
get that chance.
yeah. He surprised me. I watched summer league and I didn't know who he was, and then I was like, you know what? This kid better get a freaking contract because this is some depth. This is a depth piece we can use. And usually, I don't take some league all that crazy serious, and that,
You
but
can
like I
tell
was
when
like,
someone stands
this
out.
guy has legitimate skill and legitimate ability to put the ball in the hoop, at and the point of the game is score more points than the other team. I mean, if you can put the ball in the hoop, you're gonna get a roll, and
Sure.
I think he can be helpful for us. Um, but as you work with some college and some high school recruits and guys, so a big part, everyone says that the NBA is like a whole nother level than college and even definitely high school. Like, so like, what do you tell these guys that as they're moving up, and what do you work with them on to help them prepare for that pro level basketball?
Yeah, everything's different, man. Like every level is different. Um, every level, every coaching style, everything is different. I think you just gotta know your players. I think too many times, and I learned because I evolved as a player development coach from earlier days to now. You know, a lot of people have these guys doing all these dribble moves, and to everybody's playing offense, and they're not learning the game of basketball. So for high school guys, you just try to teach them the biggest thing, and people might not want to hear this. Fundamentals is the biggest thing. I mean,
It's
I mean,
nuts how many players don't have
I
some
mean,
of the
everything
basic.
ends up and everything goes back to the at the end of the day.
everything goes back to fundamentals because it doesn't matter how well you can dribble the ball, how many moves you do. If you can't put it in the basket, getting somewhere with 3 dribbles or or 1 dribble or no dribbles, you can't play for anybody. So now, because the game has evolved so much, you try to focus on the fundamentals of the game. And then as they go to college, you just have to pick the right school. I think that's the biggest thing because some guys pick schools and it's not indicative of not indicative of where they should go. You know, you have to go to the right school, you have to go to the right system, you have to do the right things because we watch basketball. If you really watch basketball, especially the NBA, how many times, if it's not a superstar, how many times does a role player dribble the basketball? Not a lot.
Yeah, unless it's their point guard, and if he's not a
And
superstar.
you'll even see it too. And if you guys just pay attention to summer league, look how many guys come from college that were stars and they get to summer league. It's like a whole totally different game because they're not asked to do the same stuff that they did at a certain college. Now
Yeah.
they're asked to, pass and cut and running different actions because you don't have time. You got 24 seconds. So you're not gonna pound the ball. So just making sure these guys understand, hey, you need to do 1 drill pull up, 2 drill pull up, catch and shoots. Like it might not look good on camera for you, but at the same time, you're doing the necessary things to get you there to the next step. Because all you want to do is get there. Once you get your foot in the door, you're fine.
So you obviously host like runs with guys and you coach so many players and you've had such a long, like you said, 10 years working with, from the start to now. Are there any like interesting stories or, things that you've seen on the court working with some of these guys that, just like something that sticks with you? It might be just something that happened on the court, whatever it may be, like a funny story with any of these players or in all of them in general.
Funniest story I probably have is meeting Bobo for the first time.
Oh
I
boy.
was laughing. I'm just laughing, like thinking
No,
about
like
that.
I'm dead serious. Like I met him in 2020 during COVID. A player by the name of Michael DeVoe that I worked with, that was at Georgia Tech. He played on the Blazers summer league team this year. I don't know if he paid attention. When they played Wimbiana, he had like 35. Mike DeVoe did. Like he was hooping, yeah. So he
Mhm.
at Georgia Tech. Um, I knew him when he was at Mount. It's crazy. I knew him when he was at Mount Verde because I had a kid that I trained play for Mount Verde. So that Mount Verde team had RJ Nimhard, who's with the Pacers,
Mhm.
RJ Barrett, that's with the Knicks. Mike played with the Blazers, and there's one more kid that went high major D1 off of that team. So that team won national championship. I never forget, I seen Bobo. He was at Finley Prep. And they played Mount Verde, and Bobo literally almost beat that team by himself. So that night I was like, hey, he got to be #1 player. Didn't know a couple years later he would actually come in the gym and work with me. So just seeing a guy that's that tall and that talented was like funny in itself. Like it's just ironic just to see he's very talented, like he's a very talented individual. So I mean, looking at me, I'm not the tallest person, but seeing a guy like 7'3" ish,
Oh, he'd
like
make me look small.
yeah, man. So like just seeing him and like that was probably the biggest thing, like funniest thing I've seen. But
Well, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, good,
I
good.
only laughed because a couple years ago we went, and when the Celtics used to have Taco Fall on the team,
Yeah.
they did an autograph signing with Taco Fall in a
Uh-huh.
mall near where we live. And
Mm.
Crossed, you came with me, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was.
we went and we met him, and we were standing like outside of this little sports store, this Boston sports memorabilia store.
Mhm.
And he's like, there's like this big tall curtain, and it's like
Yeah.
really high up. And he walks out from behind it, and it was like his head was like at the top of this curtain, and he looked massive. And then
Well,
when we
him
got
sitting down was like our height.
and then he sat down in the chair, and he was just like eye to eye level with me. And then when he got up next to him, his hands were like he was holding like a pen. It looked like a toothpick. It
Yeah,
was like
his Sharpie looked
scary.
like it was
It was
like
the scariest thing. I was next to him. I was like, this is like the most scary thing ever. His hand was like the size of my MacBook. Like I was so terrified. It was insane. I've never been next to someone. I've just seen someone in person so big. So I can imagine, especially Bol is freakishly athletic and talented for his size. So watching someone like if Taco
Yeah,
Fall is doing the stuff that Bol is doing, I would be like, oh my God. Like
that's right, man. That's the craziest thing. For him to be that tall, he's athletic.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's like the whole hype with Wembanyama, and even like Chet Holmgren last year coming out of the draft is when these guys are coming out. And I mean, as the years go on, all these tall players, or Giannis is really like one of the pioneers.
man,
Of that, Kevin Durant.
the dunk that Brian does where he cocks it back.
Mhm.
Yeah, like the tomahawk. Yeah.
Yes, I've literally seen Bo do the same dunk and almost touch the back of his feet because his arms are so long and he athletic. Like, man, it's the craziest thing you've
The
ever seen.
Celtics had Bol for like a second. And
Yeah,
he
never played. It was like off season.
I keep wanting them to bring him back because now that Wembanyama went first overall, all these people have been like making comparisons. They're like, what's so great about Wembanyama when
Like, why can't Bol?
They're like, why can't Bol though? Because every time he's played, he's like shined and had like really
I
great
think
moments.
he can do it. It's just got to be allowed. But I think with the Wimbiana stuff, like I just think people were too quick to like judge the kid. Like it's summer league. Like I've seen guys play terrible in summer league and still be fine. Like Trey Young was horrible when he played with the Hawks summer league, and look at him now. So I just think
Yeah.
so how it goes.
People jumped
yeah.
all over him after that first game. And then it was like this whole thing. And then the next game he played great, and you didn't hear anything about it again.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
well,
So we got some fun questions to wrap this up for you. We got a few quick ones. So if you could work with any hooper, current or all time, who would it be?
God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant.
that's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I thought you were gonna say Michael
As
Jordan.
Celtics fans,
I was
but
hoping you wouldn't say Michael Jordan because I feel like that's like the easy answer. So I'm glad you said someone that wasn't.
That was the easy. Nah, I knew you probably thought I would, but yeah, it is. Yeah, yep. I got a number two too. I got a number two. It would have been Allen Iverson.
Oh, that's a
That's
good
a
one.
good one. That's a good one too. He probably wouldn't want to do that though because he doesn't like practice.
All right, Bossy, that was funny. You're not very funny, but that was a good one. I'll give you that.
So, who's your favorite non-basketball athlete of all time?
Oh, that's a Ken Griffey Jr.
That's a good
All
one.
right.
That's a really though. That's what I was about to say. That's
We
from
have three good answers.
I was
so
about
far.
to say that's far from left field, but that's
All right. We got three good
fun.
answers. All right. This one's a make or break for us. All
right.
right. Who's your NBA GOAT? MJ or LeBron?
I can't believe y'all asked me that.
I didn't make the question. He wrote that one down.
So I'm gonna give you my answer, and then you have to let me rebut it. Okay.
All right.
I'm taking Michael Jordan.
Okay. Good. Good answer. Yeah.
But okay, let me preface this.
All right.
I think that LeBron does have stake in the claim, me honestly,
Mhm.
because it's ironic. He came out the same class as me, so we're the same age. So I got to see him in high school. So he was probably probably the greatest high school player I ever seen in my life. I also played at a high level as well, but just to see, because to me, just the whole totality, he might have the GOAT claim. Just whole totality. I'm just speaking about basketball, but as anything from off the court, on the court, like he had the most pressure ever as a kid
That's what I was gonna say.
to be who he is now. Like he hasn't slowed down yet. So I mean, I think the biggest thing for him, he's been blessed not to have major injuries.
Mm.
So
I also think it's huge, which I think my thing that I think is actually the most impressive part about him is in all this time and all this pressure, he's never really had any major scandals. Like you see
no,
athletes all the time have Jordan had the gambling stuff. Like
Well, apparently his high school is not
everyone
really good.
has their
Apparently his high school is not very good at math. But other than that,
yeah,
yeah.
other than his I promise.
Other than that's the only, really,
other than like math tests, he's doing pretty good.
that's the only thing. The man coaches his kids in AAU. Like it's
like
nothing.
you see like his loyalty to his family, like you don't
His
see any like
like
yeah,
he
his
put
friends,
all his friends on. Like his best friend is his
oh yeah.
agent. It's just something. But as far as like basketball, I've been blessed to see him, Kobe, and so Jordan was 80. I was born in 85. So I kind of understood basketball around by 91, 92. So that was his first championship when they beat the Lakers. So I kind of knew about it, even though I was young, like I knew. So I was able to see Michael Jordan like in his prime. Like I didn't see when he scored how many against the Celtics. Like I didn't see that. Like I didn't see that.
60
Yeah.
60 something
62.
62 I think.
I didn't see that, Jordan.
62 in the playoffs. Yeah.
Like if I did
playoff
see
record.
it, I was a baby, so I didn't really pay attention. But I was blessed to see all of these guys in their prime.
Mhm.
I just think the younger generation doesn't know how good Jordan was, because I'm looking at, like, they say, man, he played against plumbers. He played against this. Like,
Yeah, I can't stand that.
I don't
argument.
agree with that. If you look at the all-time rankings for like stats and different stuff like that, like he played against like guys that are like in the top 6 in like assists, steals, blocks, rebounds, points.
oh,
And like, yeah,
It's-
athleticism probably
it's
wasn't the same, but like,
It's like the game
but
wasn't the same either, but look
not
at how
his
much
fault.
talent there was at the time.
100%. The game wasn't the same. Bigs were more prevalent, like posting. And I tell people this, like, the reason I like Jordan, because if Jordan played in today's game, he would still kill. Like he would have added a 3-point shot. Like he could still shoot it. But and that's why I never because I'm a biggest Kobe fan. But I would never put Kobe over Jordan because he basically took the blueprint. So to me, I don't like comparing LeBron to Jordan. I like comparing him more to Magic, me personally.
I never really thought of that. It's a pretty good comparison.
I can see that with the player comparison as far as their style of play and things like that. Like I totally get, because when people make the Jordan and LeBron comparison, it's more like accolade and stuff like that. I feel like when they talk about that, but when you want to actually like player comp to how someone plays the game of basketball, when you watch how Magic Johnson played in his time in the league and how LeBron facilitates even at a forward position as a bigger forward, or plays the guard even on the Lakers, you see the comparison more there than you will ever see if you watch
especially in the Laker uniform.
Well, besides, well, not just that, but if you watch like a side by side with Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, you see all the comparisons that you're talking about. But if you watch but if you do the same thing with LeBron and Michael Jordan, it's not the same. They don't play a similar style of basketball. Close. Whereas if you put
I would say this too,
Magic, similar.
And I would say this too with Magic. Magic back then, he didn't need a jump shot. So not to say LeBron is the best shooter, like Magic wasn't. You don't see, and you can pull it up. You don't see many videos or highlights of Magic shooting a jump shot. I haven't seen it ever. So basically, he was getting to the basket. He was shooting hook shots. Like, so just imagine he would have had those things. He didn't need it back then. But
Mm-hmm.
I would tell y'all this. I would tell you. You might love this one though. I think the most disrespected player in history is Larry Bird.
Yes, that's a very good point. He
That's
doesn't
true.
get the,
Fair
he
point,
does
fair
not
point.
get the love. That dude was tough.
I listen.
Injuries really derailed him.
He would come in,
dad,
talk guys off the court, and then show them off with their left hand, with his
like
left hand.
my dad is the biggest Boston Celtic fan. He's so I don't know. Y'all guys may be too young to hear this name, JoJo White.
I know JoJo.
Oh
White,
yeah, I know who that is.
So that was my dad's favorite player. But like I watched. So when I caught Bird, it was the back Bird. His back was gone. But I was able, because I'm a basketball aficionado, I go back and watch things. I would go back and watch things, and Larry was just different. Like he was just, and then just to hear the stories, how these all-time greats talk about how he would tell them what he would do before he does it. Like that's GOAT status. Like I don't care what nobody tell me. So here, certain guys will never get their flowers like as they should, and it's
Well,
sad.
people look at him and don't. He doesn't look like a basketball player. He looks
If
like he should be out
if
perform.
y'all ever have time, I don't know if y'all heard Nolan Richardson. He used to coach for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
I think I've
And
heard his name before.
okay, go back and listen to his Hall of Fame speech. And he said he was driving down, he was in the car with his mom, and he was listening to the radio because then he didn't have a TV. So he said the man just kept saying, Bird to the hole, Bird for the score, Bird for the score, Bird again, Bird again. He was like, damn, who is this Bird guy? Like he's got, that brother must be good. And then he said he opened the paper the next day and he didn't know he was a white guy. And it was just like, man, it's the best. Like, it was like Bird is, and he just said it, one of the best to ever play. So I think he's the most disrespected, me personally.
I just want we have other questions, but I wanted to say I agree with you on the one thing you said about LeBron, was that like he had so much pressure on him coming into the league at 17 and 18 years old. I think if you're going to talk about all time with like the expectations, he has lived up to everything that everyone ever thought he would be, and if not more, on and off the court. And that's one of the biggest things that I give him. Like I hate LeBron because I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm supposed to hate LeBron. But when you look at it separately for everything that he was supposed to be, like the next big thing, the greatest, whatever. He's in those conversations. That's all you can ask from someone who has those expectations put on him at 18 years old. So
I understand his greatness. I still hate him.
It's like you said, though, and then we'll move on. It's like he said, I think he super exceeded it. That's me personally.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was supposed to be the top guy in the league, and now he's been the top guy in the league for 20 years. That nobody can expect that, right? Like he's just rewriting. He's just rewriting what expectations are, like every single game he plays from now on. Like
I used to hate him, and now I respect him and hate him. So
so you get a little bit of both from us.
I respect, like I don't like LeBron fans. Let's just put it that way.
Oh yeah, LeBron fans.
I hate they're annoying, but I respect Bron 100%.
So with that in mind, and you've named some of these players that you clearly have, an affinity towards, what is your all-time starting five if you had to go by position?
Good question. I'm taking Isaiah Thomas at the point.
I would have said that too, but just a different one. But it's fine.
He's a big.
I'm a big IT
like,
guy. I'm a big IT
guy.
Big Boston IT guy.
It did him so dirty, but anyway.
I know. See. All right, continue.
Okay, wouldn't you trade IT for Kyrie?
I don't want to get into this right now. Just let him finish.
I'd trade him straight up every single time.
Just let him finish.
Of course, Michael Jordan. My 3 would be LeBron. My 4 would be Tim Duncan.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
And my 5 would be Shaq.
I knew it. I just
So go
mouthed
on.
Shaq.
See,
I was like, it's
do you want
gonna
to
be
hear? Do you want to
Shaq.
hear my? This is my 5. Steph Curry. I think he's easily the best point guard of all time. I'll bet. I will fight that fight any day. Steph Curry, MJ, and then I hate LeBron, so I'm going Larry Bird at my 3. I'm going Garnett at my 4, and Shaq at my 5.
Okay.
All day.
What's
That's my
yours?
lineup.
I
What's
don't know.
what's yours?
Oh, I'd still probably go. I'd probably go Steph Curry too, just because of the impact he's had on the game. Like I
Steph
feel like
Curry's different.
it's undisputed in my eyes. Um,
I think we all going
if we're
Mike.
gonna, yeah, I'm gonna go Jordan, and then I'm gonna go LeBron. I'm
Okay.
just going by overall, like all time, like at the positions. I have to go with LeBron.
Celtics fans are anti-Vosi at the
As
moment.
much as I don't want to say this guy's name and the all-time power forwards, you guys already used 2 other ones, so I'm going with someone else. I'm gonna say Karl Malone, only because
Oh, come on.
he was
Come on.
nasty.
That is not even. All right.
I'll take Charles Barkley over him.
I
I'll
don't know.
take Dirk over him too.
I just like watching his old highlights and watching the old games he
Mm.
played. He's just someone that I like. I
Okay,
would have
I'm
said
not saying. Listen,
I would have said Tim Duncan, but you already said Tim Duncan,
Listen,
and I'm
I'm
being
not
different. Than
okay.
you.
Okay, let me preface this right. I'm not saying Karl Malone wasn't great. He's one of the best scorers of all time, but he did have John Stockton.
I know. I only said it because
Who's
you
your
guys
center?
took the first 2 I was
Yeah,
gonna
who's
say,
center?
and then
Kareem.
Hakeem.
Hakeem.
know
That's a good
what?
one.
I was literally about to say that, but I know people are like, why you wouldn't put Kareem? Like
No,
I didn't.
like I wasn't gonna pick him for my power forward, but then you guys said those 2, and I was gonna say Dirk, but then I'm like, that's like the easiest other option that I could make, and I was like, I don't want to just say Dirk just because those are the 3 that people like to argue. I would have said Kevin Garnett too, but then I knew he was gonna say that as soon as he started
I
talking.
love
so.
KG. All right. So our final question we got for you is, what is your favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie. You might think this is funny. Sandlot.
That's a good
That
one. That's a
movie
good-
is awesome.
That's a good one. All
That
right.
was the best answer ever. I love that it's not basketball. That's awesome. I love that movie.
I didn't really, and to be honest with you, a lot of these basketball movies I hated.
They're all the
Yeah,
same.
they're so
I only-
unrealistic.
okay, it's only one basketball movie I like. Have you seen Sunset Park?
No.
No.
Okay, gotta
All
watch.
right, let me write that down. Sunset Park.
Sunset Park. You
All right,
gotta.
I'm gonna watch
We'll do-
that, and I'm gonna
We're gonna
send
do
you
like
a
a
full
live
review of the
We're
movie.
gonna do like a live react and we'll like send it to you.
It's okay. It's you will see. It's you. Trust me. You will like it.
All right. My favorite sports movie of all time. I kind of change this answer every single time I answer it, but I think the last couple times I've been going with Hoosiers. I really love that movie.
Really, that movie.
I love that movie. I think that's such a good.
Okay, I know you seen Blue Chips, right?
I don't think I have.
Y'all never seen that?
I don't
No.
think so.
What's
Write
that?
it down. Write it down.
Right? Add it,
Oh my
add it
God.
to the watch list.
Okay, Shaq and Penny was on that movie.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen like scenes from it. I haven't seen the full
I think
thing.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
So
about.
it delves into the corruption of dirty basketball, like
Mm.
players and getting players. You'll like that one too. He
All
got
right.
game. Like I got a couple now.
I've seen He Got Game.
But yeah,
Alright.
give me Sandlot all day, every day.
That is a great movie.
That's
The
a good movie.
dog jumped over the fence and tried to get him. Like that was my favorite movie. So
Have you ever seen the second one?
no, I don't.
Second one's horrible.
It's not,
Don't watch
it's
that.
not good.
Second
It's
one
awful.
sucks. Don't
Movies
ruin
listen,
your love for it. Don't watch the
movies
second one.
movies like that. You can't have a
You
sequel.
can't
They're
sequel
money
some of
grab.
those movies. It just doesn't
You
work.
gotta let them go. So as you guys know, y'all see I love baseball. So I play baseball as well. So that's probably why you hear like a Ken Griffey or a Sandlot. Like I love baseball as well.
I like that answer. That was like my favorite answer.
That was a good one. All right. Yeah. We
My
get some different answers.
my favorite
Usually
sports
we get,
movie
like,
is-
the general ones.
my favorite sports movie is probably Rocky. I've just always loved that series. It's always been my favorite.
It's a good
Okay,
one.
which one though? because the
When he
first.
fights Drago, when he goes to Russia and he
Okay,
like that's like my favorite. I think
I
is
like that one.
that might be 3. I think it's either 3 or 4. I always get the orders mixed up.
It's
you
Rocky
like-
4.
You
After
like
after the 4th one, they all suck. But
It was 4, right? Yeah, it
yeah,
was 4.
yeah.
which one with Mr. T?
That was the second one, wasn't it? That was the second one because he fights Mr. T because he kills Mick, and that's the second movie.
Okay.
That one's
No,
good
that's
too.
Rocky 3. It's
Was
3.
it Rocky 3? I don't know
Yeah.
what 2 is. I don't remember what Rocky 2 is, but I like both. I just like all 4 of those movies.
Rocky 2 was with Apollo Creed.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
he comes back and beats him for the okay.
Yeah. Did
Yep.
you like Creed at all?
Yes,
like
I
Creed.
thought those were really good. I haven't seen the third one yet.
I
I
like
didn't-
Creed. I haven't seen the third one. I don't even know if
Okay.
I've seen the second one.
I
I haven't
like-
seen the second one. I've only seen the
I've seen
first
the
one.
Second one, because they bring up Drago son.
Yeah, they bring Drago Son into it.
Love that one. The third one was okay.
The thing, I just don't want it's kind of those things where it's like, okay, I know it's Creed and it's supposed to be like, it's a spin-off sort of idea of like Rocky, but you can't just be like, oh, Drago's son's like, you can't
And
just,
Rocky
like,
not even beat Rocky.
you can't just keep
Yeah.
going to, bringing back stuff from the past. And like, it's like, you can't make the same movies they made in the 70s and the 80s like that. What's the fun in that? You got to change them up somehow. Like, you can't just be the same. It's like, oh, now it's his son. It's like, okay, so like, couldn't have seen that coming. Like,
You're right. I get it, but yeah, man, I'm off the box, man. Y'all really picked some real movies, man. I just like the kid aspect of saying
You like
No, that's
Moneyball?
a good-
You're a baseball guy. Do you like Moneyball?
That's a
no,
good
but
movie.
I do like I did love all the major leagues though.
Those are good movies.
Listen,
You ever seen Benchwarmers? That's a good sports movie. You should
That's a
check
good
that
one. If you like funny, like
If you like comedy stuff, you
it's
should
with
watch
Rob
it.
Schneider and David
It's like
Spade.
Rob Schneider, David Spade, the guy that plays
Napoleon
Napoleon
Dynamite.
Dynamite's in it.
okay, I didn't see that one.
It's like
That's
a
a
huge,
good one.
It's a
If you
huge
get
joke.
it, write
it's wicked fun.
write that one down. Benchwarmers, you will laugh your
Yes,
ass
I'm
off
taking
that
your notes.
entire movie.
That's a good one. That's a really good one too.
I
Don't
am-
watch Sandlot 2 though. No matter what you do, don't
Do not
don't
watch Sandlot 2.
You're gonna ruin it for yourself. Don't watch Sandlot 2.
I'm not watching that. But yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
one more.
Yeah.
Any Given Sunday. I like that one too.
Any
What is
given
it?
Sunday. It's
Any
any
Given
given Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I haven't seen that one.
Rudy's
write
a-
it down. Write it
Rudy,
down.
Rudy's a good one. Any given
Oh,
Sunday is
yeah.
a good
Oh,
one.
Rudy
right.
suck, man.
I like the story.
Rudy's
behind
terrible. That's a
Rudy.
dumbass
story.
After you watch it like once,
That's a
I don't
dumbass
really
story.
like it. But
Rudy's
like,
terrible.
it's one of the best. I like the story
No,
behind it.
it's
Rudy's
dumb. It's
terrible.
dumb. That is so unrealistic.
Is that true? Was that a true story?
It was based on a
Apparently.
true story. Yeah.
So this is what they go. If you haven't
The
watched
Blind
the SNL,
Side. The Blind Side. I couldn't
No,
remember
okay,
it. The
shut up,
Blind Side
Bosie,
might
shut
be
up.
my favorite.
watch the SNL skit where they like make fun of Rudy, and then the whole Rudy movie will be like it just completely debunks like what like the movie, and
I've seen
it makes
I
some
know what you're
great
talking
points.
about.
I got one more for you. And y'all
All right.
got it's called, I think it's called I'm getting the name right now.
I hope I've seen it.
Y'all gotta watch this, please. And please, I need you guys to text me. I think it's called The Program.
The program,
Definitely never heard of it.
Never.
yeah, the
No.
program,
A Program. It's about college football. You're
yeah.
in The Program.
Oh, it
That's
has
the-
James Caan and
yeah, Omar
Holly
Epps,
Berry.
Omar Epps, Halle Berry.
All right,
Yeah.
I got a list. We're gonna have to do full reviews on our Instagram of these movies, and then we'll
There's
just
a
we'll
lot of
send them
good.
to you.
There's a lot of good sports movies. There's also a lot of bad ones. Like I said, I don't love Rudy. It's like a staple of a
Terrible
sports
movie,
But-
stupid
Right.
movie.
I've seen walk-ons and it's not that enjoyable. Like,
No, it's not.
bro.
Well,
like,
Coach Carter's a good one. That's a good one. We're going back
That's-
to basketball.
that sucked too. I hated
You
that.
don't like Coach Carter? Oh, I love that movie.
I like Joanna Man better than I like that. Never seen Joanna Man.
No.
No.
Oh my
I'll
god,
write it down.
Add it to the
Write it
list.
down.
That's another one.
bro, y'all never seen Joanna Man?
No.
Oh man, Joanna Man.
Oh, I have a quick question. Because you grew up, you grew up in like the 90s and stuff like that. Did you like the new Space Jam with LeBron? What did you think of it?
No. Oh my god.
No, I know. I'm not. No, I know it's sucked, but I'm asking him because he grew up with like the original.
It sucked.
It was so bad.
I wanted to hear what he had to
I-
say because
I
he was
I
like,
get
he
it.
saw
No,
the first
but
one.
listen, I watched it because I have daughters, so
You have to.
I get the premise where they was trying to be a little bit too gimmicky, honestly. But nah, it's nowhere near the first Space Jam. No.
No,
Oh, yeah.
they make you watch Barbie yet?
Oh heck no.
We
Nah.
went and saw it.
We went and saw Barbie.
Yeah, what?
We went and
We
saw it.
saw Barbie.
Oh, is it a cartoon or is it
No,
true?
it
No, it's like
no,
real
it has
big-
like
no,
Margot
no.
Robbie and
Margot
Ryan
Robbie's
Gosling.
in it and stuff.
So what is it? It's like a regular movie?
Yeah,
The
it's like a
plot is
normal-
horrible.
The
but like
plot sucks, but like
the jokes were kind of funny.
Will Ferrell shows up in it. Like there's like some funny like
Real
people.
Pharaoh is in it.
yeah, the
Yeah.
jokes were kind of funny, but
The
like
jokes were funny and stuff, but like the preface of the movie was wicked stupid.
I'm not watching that. So
Yeah.
No, well,
you don't have to.
All right.
don't waste
well,
your time. You just said you had daughters, so I was like, I bet that. As soon as that, I'm like,
Hey,
oh, I bet.
you know what? They didn't even want to see it, so they didn't
Good
bring
for
it
you.
up.
You're doing something right. And good for you.
They rather see they rather see like a Marvel movie or something. They don't care.
Those
Don't
are
start
good.
with
I am-
Marvel. I
oh
don't
my
wanna
God,
listen to
they-
this kid.
I'm
Don't start
I'm a
with
huge
Marvel.
Marvel nerd.
Don't
I'm a
talk
huge
about
Marvel
Disney,
nerd.
Marvel, or the Celtics. I don't want to listen to any of it anymore. I'm all set. I've done my time. I've done my 12 years of
We'll-
friendship.
we'll
I'm all
watch-
set.
We won't watch DC, but we'll watch Marvel.
Boom, right there. Exactly.
You can
what
come
I
on
did.
anytime you want.
You are always welcome.
I saw the Flash, man, and yeah, the effects.
Terrible.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, the effects on IMAX were cold, but the plot was just trash, man. So,
A lot of the new movies are just special effects and stuff that you can see on the screen. It doesn't really matter about the story for so
100%
many movies,
so.
which just sucks.
I
But well,
I just got done watching Secret Invasion, so
Yeah, I watched that. I thought it was pretty good.
I'm waiting on Loki 2 now. So
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that.
all right. Well, this is my time that I log off. You guys have fun finishing the
right.
podcast.
No, hold on.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
All right, that's all we got for you. Appreciate you for coming
I'm just
on,
kidding.
taking
I'm
this
just
time
kidding.
with us.
I love Marvel too.
no problem, man. I appreciate you guys having me, man. Anytime. I do anything to help you guys, so I appreciate y'all having me on.
Appreciate it. So yeah,
Plug
thanks
yourself.
everyone.
Do you have like social media?
Oh yeah,
stuff?
you
Plug
want to play your
yourself,
social
please.
media?
Yeah, so on all platforms, Twitter, Threads now.
Threads.
I've opened it like
Well, it's
one
not
time.
called Twitter anymore. It's X.
It's X.
It's X, yeah.
I've opened Threads like once, but I'll give you a follow.
Yeah, coach underscore Rob 10. Coach underscore Rob 10. That is my
Everyone
name.
can throw him a follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you follow me, you can. But just like I said, man, I appreciate you guys reaching out. Appreciate being on the show and anytime, man. So hopefully when I come up that way, I can meet you guys in person.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hey, if
We're
you're
gonna
ever
do
in
a
the
half-
area, let us
We're
know.
gonna do a halfway mark of the season and where like Jay Scrub is at and stuff, and we're gonna do like a recap. Like, all right, second half of the season, what does he need to work on? Well,
So if you're ever in the area, let us know.
Yeah,
I can get
definitely, man.
I can get a basketball gym near me anytime I want,
So
and we'll have to pull up and we'll have to play.
I would
yeah,
definitely-
next time you come, you're gonna coach me. So when I pull up to men's league out of nowhere, I'm gonna be absolutely dirty.
We can do
I
we
would
can do a
def-
workout video for him.
I would definitely be
I
there.
can almost dunk. I'm only 5'10". We're getting there.
Yeah,
So-
I would definitely be there this year. So I appreciate you guys, man.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for coming on,
Thank
man.
you.
It's
So
been awesome.
everyone check us out on Instagram at offbeat_sports and on TikTok at offbeatsports, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys.
Call them all Texas.